Agnes and Marihu, thank you for both being here today. My name is Rich.
My name is Marihu, and I'm the Vice President of the Security Association.
My name is Agnes. I'm the Treasurer of the Security Association.
I, for the moment, am the President. Let's get right into what today's subject is, and that's security as we sit here right now. This is being recorded in October of 2018. And we want to give everyone coming into town and everyone who's already here and just everyone who has anything to do with Nosara an accurate update as where we're sitting crime-wise. Marihu, you've been working as a booking agent for almost a decade now. What are you seeing? What homes are getting robbed and what homes are not getting robbed?
Okay, super simple. The houses that have private security, they don't get robbed. This is a touristy town and we have security problems. Crime issues, it's mostly petty theft when people go out for dinner or sunset. So there are homes that are including a security guard only for dinner hours. And then some others the whole night, which works really, really well.
Okay, so you're saying there's two different types of private security out there that's being used. And so talk us through the dinner time. Why dinner time?
Because people go out for dinner, they leave everything in the house. Sometimes they don't even set the alarm if the house has an alarm. They leave the valuables where people can see them, and they get robbed.
Now, that being said, I want to one-up it. Our crime problem, I think, has intensified because the thieves are really good now. Like, Agnes, when you first started as property manager way back when, it was more towels and flip-flops and basic type theft. If you just left it by the window, they might fish it out with a pole type stuff.
That's correct.
And now what we're seeing is systemized, if that's a word, people who can cut through bars, they can get right through an alarm, they can throw something over and dodge the cameras. Or what they're doing is spotters are going through and repointing the cameras. We're seeing that a lot right now. So people have camera systems. Someone will come through with a big pole, adjust the camera, and then go hit it later. So the thieves have gotten good. That's the message that I'd like to get out.
Professional.
There. They're really good now. It's not the thievery of 10 years ago or even 5 years ago. So private security is the one thing that works better than anything else. Is it 100% perfect? No, but is it 99% compared to everything
having somebody there.
Right. So I would say I'd rather have a house that's completely open with a private security guard in front of it rather than have a house that has an alarm, that has bars, and a safe. They can get right into a safe. A safe is not safe. It's like a oxymoron at this point. There's no, like, they're not safe. They can crack them quick. So talk us through the homes that are doing it all night long. How many of those have been hit?
None.
Almost none. There's been like one or two tiny incidents over.
Yeah, but
a couple of the homes around here have been doing it for 5 years, and they never get robbed.
Some really high-end homes are including security guard all night. There is one specifically that comes to my mind. Zero problems at all. And it's been 5 years maybe. So it really works. Having somebody there works.
So Agnes, why don't the owners automatically include private security inside the rent? Because if it's that effective, why don't we beat this drum out there and get the message out? Listen, town, let's get private security. It's going to protect your investment. It's going to protect your renters. All of these benefits come from it. Why do you think not everyone's doing what Marihu just suggested?
Well, there's also different level of rentals and different level of a budget. So for competition to work, you want your rental to be the cheapest. And including and adding the cost of a security guard might not be getting you the clients you want. So we have to consider smaller rental houses that cannot afford it. Now, the other option is to offer the clients a guard as a low cost, saying, hey, you guys, when you go out for dinner, we offer you a private guard, which is highly recommended for that much money for the evening. And as an extra.
So the property managers are the booking agents or whoever's handling the booking of that home should indicate to the clients that private security is available to them.
That's correct.
Okay, so first question is, how much does that cost? What's the cost of a dinner time guard right now? Or cost guard per hour?
About 40 right now, 40, 50
for 4 hours. So about $10 an hour as of recording time. That's about where we're at.
More or less,
And I've seen some homes do it from just 6 to 8, 5 to 8, 6 to 10, anything like that.
And some other homes, if they're close by or on a dead-end road, they're sharing the cost and they have a security guard. Like, there's an example, a road in K section is a dead end. A lot of break-ins before. And then all the neighbors got together and they started paying a security guard from 6 in the afternoon to 6 in the morning or 5 to 5.
And it works.
And now it really works.
Okay, so what you're telling me is that, well, private security works even if it's just the dinner time, but better off if you do the full night, obviously, if you can build it into the price. Yeah. Or if the renters want to get it. But you're telling me that somebody can just go rent it for, I'm going out to dinner on Tuesday night, so I want it then. And the property manager can and should and will provide that, hopefully.
Yeah, that would be.
Clients can request it, and like all the property managers should encourage people to have a security guard. Actually, some property managers that I know, which is really good, are including now on all of their homes dinner time security at least.
So let's talk through that.
Which is great.
Here's the issue. Being a property manager here is horrible. I don't have to tell you that.
Yeah.
I tell you, you're reverse aging. Like you're 3 years younger now than you were 10 years ago when you were managing properties. And I'm only halfway kidding. Like it's a tough job. So when you're also sending statements constantly to people whose homes aren't cash flowing, and you're basically not the favorite email message they get. So now you're going to have to go to them and say, hey, yeah, I know you're not cash flowing already. So here's another expense. And it's not fun to do. So I really feel for the property managers out there, but at the same time, we need them. So Agnes, having been a property manager, let me ask you first, how important is it that the property managers support the initiatives? And the reason why I'm asking that is I don't see how we're going to go from just certain houses, including security and utilizing private security, to a whole section or a whole neighborhood unless the property managers are driving it, because they know the homeowners know them. So for me, it seems essential, but what are your thoughts?
So property management is going to influence the decision of the owners by advising them of what is best to do to protect their investment. Okay,
so Marihu had told us about like an example of a street in the K section that used to get robbed a ton. And the homeowners got together and implemented private security on the street, and that stopped. Do you remember a couple years back, Harbor Reef, they used to have a property management operation, and they had a roaming guard that went around the J section, which is where most all their properties were. And it was fantastic. It really worked well. What other examples are there?
Well, there's Las Huacas, which is... it might look like an easy area to cover, but it's a very expanded area, so it's not that easy.
It's large.
There's only like one road access, but there's a lot of trails as well for thieves to use. So
one that's open right now.
Right. Yeah. So if they are, what they did is like they organized themselves, and even though it was a very slow start with only a few people participating, they were able to obtain a little guard shack at the bottom of the hill. That is manned every night, like from 5 to 5, I think, 5 p.m. to 5 a.m. And then they, with time, they were able to get a motorcycle guard that was like patrolling the hill. So working together.
What's funding this?
The homeowners donate money every month or every year to an association they created. That is a security association.
Now, how did that happen, though?
By the persistence and by doing, they started doing like neighborhood gathering, like get to know your neighbors and, barbecues
now, the mayor
and stuff.
who used to live up the hill, fill us in. What was your experience?
Yeah, I lived there for like almost 4 years, and it was nice because like they were doing neighborhood parties or like get-togethers. Like you just bring food and you get to know your neighbors and who lives there, and then talk about road problems and also security issues. So.
So like once a quarter, if I remember right, that was about the schedule.
Yeah, like every 4 months, something like that.
I want to give a big shout out to Michael Wolf and the people who coordinated that, because when they started that whole initiative, there was like 3 people total. And now I was talking to Glenn recently. I think he said it's 93-4%
pretty much. And also
participation
like
now.
When I used to live there, we created a WhatsApp group. So all the neighbors, like we are all on that group, and you just communicate. Like if you hear something weird or the neighbor is not at home and you hear the alarm, then you tell the guard or, like.
Now, a lot of people listening to this, they may or may not know we already have like a community WhatsApp group that's large and wide. Now, over the past 2 years, we've been trying to narrow that down
by
section. So tell us why we were doing that real quick.
Because like at the beginning, we created this WhatsApp group and it was like the whole town. And sometimes like you live in Las Huacas and the problem was in K section and it's a lot of like bing bing all day. So we just created like different groups for each section.
Well, it's more relevant because it's your neighborhood.
Yeah.
And people will take that
And then you
message
pay
more
attention,
seriously.
because then if you hear your phone like all day or like every once in a while, then you don't really listen to. But if it's just your section, just your neighborhood, then
Maybe we should fill in anyone watching this or listening to this. We have multiple WhatsApp groups throughout the town. So we have some that the police are connected to, and it's just police or our emergency responders. Our
Section leaders.
section leaders that heads of the
Property
Security
managers.
Association, and then we have a property management group. Thank goodness that we just started.
yeah.
And we have our section leaders, which are volunteers from each section who are willing to help coordinate and spread information. The WhatsApp thing has been fantastic, but it's not perfect. So a lot of people we found got frustrated because it got too big too quick. There's somebody outside and they live in Esperanza, and somebody at where you live. What do I care?
Yeah,
you know,
exactly.
so people were getting
But
annoyed
it
with it.
works. Remember the case in case section where a neighbor saw somebody breaking into a house. They posted it on the group, and then everybody just got there. The police got there.
They
The
stopped.
thieves like left, but at least they dropped everything and they left everything there. So
It worked. You're
works.
right. And,
It
and
works.
what was the best thing about probably the story that you're referencing was even sworn enemies who
Helped
like
each
hated each
other.
other during the day worked together that night.
Yeah.
It was really cool. It was it was nice to see that stuff working.
Common enemy.
Well, that's true. I mean,
It
even
is.
it's a competitive, gossipy little town we live in because it's a small town. All small towns are like that. But when it comes to security stuff, we need to stop the infighting. Because what historically happens is we get in a crime wave, people get frustrated, people take to social media, let's go start walking the streets and take our town back. And it's like, okay, thanks for the nice sentiment. First off, we've tried that like 100 times. It's not sustainable. It won't work. And even if you caught them and you didn't witness the crime, there's nothing you can do. Like, you as a foreigner could actually potentially be in a legal situation, much to your detriment. People don't think about that stuff when you're angry, though. You just get angry. You want to go out and beat some people up who are stealing stuff. Whereas what we're trying to say is prevention is the actual only thing that works. The laws are against us. And I'm not going to change Costa Rica's legal system, nor are you, unfortunately. So what we can do is utilize what we know works, and that's private security.
Yeah.
So moving on, I'd like to give a shout out to Gillies Beach Club too. Gillies Beach Club houses get robbed every now and then, but what is it? 90-something% less than everywhere else, and it's simply because there's a private security guard there all the time.
Yeah, and they installed a bunch of cameras too,
They
which
did just
we
install
are
cameras.
now implementing.
Yeah,
Maybe
so that's
like-
actually a perfect segue for to our second initiative, which is the community camera system. To give some background to anyone listening, we initially were trying to do this huge, amazing camera system that had solar power and all this crazy stuff, and it was
License plate recognition.
license plate recognition. We aimed a little too high. The budget.
Yeah.
We were like negative money at that time. But point being, we tried to do this big, awesome community camera initiative, and it's just too much. And we tried to raise the money for, 3-4 years? It's just too much. So what we ended up doing was pulling the trigger on 1 or 2 or 3. And to start, we invited the local security companies to participate. So that was easier with some security companies than with others. I won't name any names right now, but the point is, things are starting to happen. So what's our update there? Maybe Agnes, you fill us in on the Plata.
The first camera that was installed was the one on Pelada, which was located just at the edge of the condominium Las Flores. So thank you for
Shout out to them.
their association as well to agree to have this posted there. Unfortunately, of course, we had some vandals that took them down,
Which we expected.
and they were eventually stolen as well. So now we
Expected that too.
we are working, and hard security came through by offering the whole system. The only financial help they asked was for cable, so that it would reach their office. And recently, we discussed where we could locate them so they are a little more secure against vandalism. And we are going to put them on the property of El Pepperoni.
Perfect.
And Pepperoni also agreed. So thank you as well for
Many
Pepperoni
thanks.
for this neighborhood to help out. And this is our first success. Thank you for Hard Security, Condominium Las Flores, and Pepperoni.
Hey, we should, in this public, I don't know if this is a forum or it's a video or whatever this is, we should give a quick, some love to Hard Security, because when we suggested this, they were the first company who came in and said, yes, we're in, the community
And
needs
they
this.
responded right away.
They didn't have any ego out of it. They didn't ask for anything. they stepped up. Now, fortunately, some of the other folks are coming around, thank goodness.
Yeah.
But I do want to at least acknowledge that. It's not a recommendation. It's not an endorsement. It's just a thank you.
Yeah.
Many
And
thanks to
also
them.
thank you to Audi Masters, Theory, and Fritz.
And Steve.
And Steve. Because of them, now we have cameras at the main entrance
Downtown.
close to Café Paris.
And the crossroad of Café de Paris, Coconut Harry.
Yeah, so at Coconut Harry Surf Shop, Cafe Paris, we now have multiple camera angles going each way. So when people still stuff try to get out of town, we can check those cameras. Now, we should probably point out again to anybody watching or listening, those cameras aren't designed to like catch people and put them behind bars. So again, we're prevention. Prevention is
We're
what we have
trying.
control over.
We need to use all the security features we can.
Yeah. Yeah, just maybe Agnes, you fill us in. What do you need to actually get someone caught and punished appropriately? Because people don't know. You can tell by what has to happen before someone actually could go to jail for.
We need an eyewitness. And somebody who's ready to go through all the steps to all the way to trial and conviction.
Or catch him in the act. So catch
Catch
him in the act
and eyewitness. Catch him in the act. There is like a flagrancy court now in Santa Cruz. You catch them in the act. You call the police. They take you to the court. You have to go as a witness to Santa Cruz and report. And the guy will go to jail for at least a couple of months because we was caught in the act.
Now that's if we're lucky enough to catch someone in the act, which
Right.
we very seldom do. And the police force, a lot of people don't understand how the police force works around here. At least the tourist police, they come in groups and they transition them out because they're trying to avoid corruption. Now the problem with our town is that just
confusing.
it gets really confusing, and then right when they start learning who the people are, they get shipped to a different area of the country. So for us in the Security Association, it's always like. It's always a sad day because we work to cultivate the relationship, get things going, and then...
Yeah, we always every time we have a new group, because this is
We need to teach them again.
yeah, because we have different roads and people get lost, so we give them maps
Well,
and
they
try
don't know
to
where it is.
Yeah.
You're right. It's
okay, we're having a break in here and they don't even know where it is, so we try to help them understand the area and learn it. But
well, it's not a normal town with streets
Yeah.
and avenues to where it's okay, it's this address. It's I'm at
And this
Castle whatever, and it's
Yeah.
the police officer's
bunch of rental homes with
it's in the
a lot
C
of similar
section. It's
names and-
what's the C section? I had to,
And this is why the camera project is going to come and helping very handy. I mean, it's very handy because something happened in a section and the neighbors are going to ask, hey, anybody has a camera around here? And has been asking, did you
Yes.
catch anything on this section of road? And say, well, yeah, we just happen to have a camera.
yeah.
And that takes me to we have a third project, which is Baker's Beach entrance, and it's in the final phase of installation. We just need to get electricity to connect the cameras, and that's thank you to Nosara Security and Vincent, who provided all the equipment. With a little bit of financial help from us, from likely labor and cabling and stuff like that. But that's otherwise they provided the whole equipment, and with that we will have those 3 cameras on the main intersection. We also have a couple of homeowners and hotels that facilitated their cameras, their already existing camera system, by orienting their cameras on the main street. We have Holas Verdes, which is already functioning. They say that anytime something happened in that street, we are welcome to come and check their cameras. We or whoever is in charge at the time, the police can go. And we have another homeowners, which is his first name is Mike, right?
We'll leave off his name for right now.
Okay,
just
we
'cause
don't want. Okay,
he
he
didn't
doesn't
give us
want.
any-
Okay. And then we were talking to other properties as well, other hotels and businesses that are totally willing to cover their little section of road.
Maybe
And-
let's throw that out publicly right now. If you have a property or a business that is on a good location, please let us know if you'll volunteer your site so that we can point a camera. Because like you were just saying, the one homeowner who just came to the security meeting, he's like, hey, I live at this intersection. I already have cameras at my house, but what if I did this here? Would that help you guys? Yes. 100 times over. So back up. Big thanks to Olas Verdes for stepping up. Luis and team, that was really cool. And then a couple other people who volunteered, Surf Simply, and other people along that strip. That would be fantastic. Also, in the past, I want to give a shout out to Jeff and for helping coordinate a lot of the G section because they were able to. They did have cameras for a good while there, and
we're going to go back on that project.
Yeah, and it's going to happen. So the G section is actually doing a pretty good job. It used to be a mess. And they've done a pretty good job of communicating amongst themselves and getting things going. But we want to carry that over to A and C.
At the entrance
and
of
I.
the K section as well, there's this new hotel called the Cabanon. I just talked to them yesterday, and
So
they
they're
said,
in.
yeah, they're in, totally
great.
in. They're just waiting to coordinate with a security company. They don't have one fixed yet, but they're talking to them, and they say, yeah, we totally want to do it. Let us know where and everything. I said, just cover the road. And we don't ask you to open your surveillance system to the communities. Just when something happens, that we can have access. So your
That's exactly
privacy
right.
is still there. We want you to show us a section from that time to that time, that specific date. That's it.
If we
And
have this,
that's all we ask.
So if I was a thief, and again, we're not going to stop crime in Costa Rica. We can prevent it, or we can spread it. We can send it somewhere else. That's what we can do. And if we have cameras that literally link up the whole section,
And the whole town working together,
The whole town working
WhatsApp
together.
groups,
this
private
actually
security.
could work. So this is probably a little known fact, especially because we're just coming out of a crime wave. Now, those of us who are dealing with this all the time, when we're in the middle of a crime wave, there's no shock. We're like, yeah, we know. People aren't using private security, so we're going to get robbed. That's that. But we have more momentum right now than we've ever had. There's more things happening. The police have caught more people in the past 2 years than as long as I've ever known. And the police actually have improved. I know everyone likes to talk about the police, but I want to give them a shout out. The police have improved. Like, they actually will come meet with us for a while. We were able to meet with them each week and try to help. It didn't used to be like that. It didn't used to be like that.
Just one thing is that a thief does not want to be noticed. Once he starts realizing that people are reacting, that they communicate through WhatsApp, that they see cameras, it's nice to put a sign like we did at Trust of the Town and on the beach, you are being watched. They're like, yeah, whatever. But when they realize that they are being watched, and when people are actually reacting and calling and coming around with an alarm that is ringing, they will say, wait a minute, this is not an easy town to rob or in an easy section to rob.
They're
We're going to
get
go
robbed.
somewhere else. We're going to go to the easy target.
Well, now let's
So
first off, you're right.
It works.
Completely works, and we absolutely can do it. The people coming into Nosara,
Yeah.
the people who are coming in now want to protect their assets. They want their guests to have a good time, and they also have the money. Now, the only way we're going to pay for all this stuff is from people coming in who are going to donate to these causes. So, how are we going to pay for these cameras? How have we paid for the cameras so far? And what do we do? Like, what are our fundraising initiatives to try to make this happen?
Right now, next month, we're going to have a really cool concert with G-Love and all the way from San Jose. And what's
Charlie's Street Drummer.
You got to come see Charlie Street Drummer.
Yeah.
I mean, G-Lo's okay.
It's going to be
and
starting.
Oha's okay.
It's going to be starting at 6, so be there at 6 for the concert. It's going to be awesome.
Nick
It's gonna
and
be
John
awesome.
John are signing up
Nick
this
and
year
John
too.
as well, yeah.
So it's
Yeah,
gonna
so
it's gonna be a
every-
mix of all different flavors, and it's gonna be.
This
a
is
good
going to
show.
be the 4th year that we do this concert, and we get most of our money from that concert.
So the cameras that we've installed and the things that we've done, the money has come from that fundraiser
And some donations.
and a couple donations. And many thanks to everyone who's
Yeah.
donated. Big shout out to Wanderlust Realty. Last crime wave, when we put guards at each end of the town, they donated and Surf Nosara donated. So we, for that one bad time period, we didn't want to announce that publicly per se, but at the time to let everybody know, but I do want to say thank you to them. And I also want to use that as a segue to explain, we're trying to go from just homes to sections and copy what Las Huacas did, copy what the K-section streets who've done this are doing in Gillings Beach Club. But how perfect would it be if we had each section had a private security guard at each points of ingress or egress? Like if someone's at each spot, no one's going to come rob here because we'll have cameras when they come in, when they go out. We'll have private security in the area, and the WhatsApp groups will have people dialed in. So we're trying to do this. The only thing we're lacking is complete public support.
Yeah.
So what would you say? Let's say I've lived in Nosara for a couple of years, been robbed, police stink, called them, didn't even show up. I've had all the bad experiences, so I'm listening to this message, and it's like, security, Nosara, whatever. What would you say to that chiseled or grizzled or whatever the word is I'm looking for? They're jaded person who just hops on like nothing works, everything sucks.
Yeah.
What do we say to them right now?
You are preserving your health and your well-being and the one of your income and your investment in town.
Okay, so
Think
let me
about it that
transition
way.
that to if I own a home or I'm building a home here. If your renters keep getting robbed, how does that look?
You're creating a negative wrap on your house, and you will lose money, and your investment will go down.
Okay, so most homes here don't cash flow. Some do.
Yeah.
Most don't. But the money that people do make for the most part is in the equity and their asset. And what I would argue is if crime perpetuates and it keeps spreading and information
we all
spreads.
suffer. We all suffer.
So when I first got involved with all this, remember the theme used to be, hey, don't say too much, don't scare people away. And I'm sitting here right now saying it. We have a crime problem. Crime, cars, and electronics. I say it every day. Like, those are our negatives in that order, in my opinion. We have a crime problem. We always will. But I think we can utilize these mechanisms and strategies that we're doing to at least knock it down a big chunk. And I think that's going to help people's assets. And it's going to help them make, I don't know how much more money, if our town doesn't have a reputation for being a hotbed for thieves who never get caught. You always get away with it. And quite frankly, in past years, it's been very easy to steal from. We have a ton of nature preserves. Thank God for that. But at the same time, it's very easy to sit right there and watch tourists. Tourists are predictable. They do the same thing. They go surf about the same time. They go to dinner about the same time. They have the same behavior.
They bring all the cameras and all the computers.
And people are bringing down Mac stores. So, Mario, maybe get a message out there to people who are coming to visit on do they need to bring 6 iPads and computers and $20,000 worth of stuff? And what should people do who are about to come down?
They will.
Well, try to not bring all the electronics. Also, insurance.
Travel insurance. Let's talk about that. Why is it important?
Well, because you never know. What if, like, your house gets broken into? Then you have travel insurance. And
what do you have anything to add on as far as if you have travel insurance? You have to file the report.
Yeah, and
always file the report. Yeah, no matter what.
Filing a report also will help the community by raising awareness at the national level, like the authority level. They will provide eventually more security, and they will be a bit more open and aware of a crime issue in the country itself.
Okay, so what about, again, I'm dropping back into...
We're going back, like a long way, but...
Well, let me ask you this. What about, I've lived here, I called the police, they never showed up, I hate the police, that report sucks, no one's going to catch them anyway. The reason why I'm asking you this question and putting you on the spot is because this is what people are told every day. Mm-hmm. It happens all the time.
It works.
Is people come in and they're like, I was going to file that report, but I talked to my neighbor or a real local, and they told me that none of this matters anyway.
No, you have to do it.
It matters. This is how Nosara was able to get the government to pay for the rental of the tourist police in Guiones, which we as the association did and had a lot of money involved in paying the rent instead of like giving it to community project like we are doing now, cameras. So because of those reports and because of the influence of the crime reporting,
the trucks that came out,
and then we also got two vehicles, which before they were like one motorcycle that when no gasoline they couldn't drive. So our reporting and our insistent like bugging of the Ministerio de Seguridad about our problem brought resources to us, and that is the more. I don't want to have more theft. But the more initiative we have as far as like camera and connecting with the police and all that, they are opening their eyes to us and saying, wow, Nosara is trying to help. Let's help them.
You know what's funny? 2 weeks ago, someone called me up. They're like, hey man, this WhatsApp group, this not helping. And I was like, hold on, you don't really even know. Around the country, other areas are implementing the system because it has helped so much here. Mm-hmm. So I guess my message is to people who are walking around that you might not realize some things are working. It might not feel like it because we're still growing, but we don't have the full camera system in place. That's why we're talking about it right now. We need money to do it, right? Mm-hmm. We don't have all the section leaders in place in the private security initiatives. That's why we're talking about it. So it's a work in progress.
And it's always easy to complain.
It's super easy to complain. Super easy to complain. Whenever we're in a crime spree and we have a community meeting, everyone shows up. Mm-hmm. And whenever times are good, it's just crickets. So it's kind of backwards. But do you guys have any thoughts or anything you want to get out there to people coming in besides just get the travel insurance and don't bring all the electronics?
Is all the security features at the house. If the house has an alarm, like make sure you set the alarm before you leave. If there is a safe, put everything there. And try to request for a security guard if you go out for dinner or for sunset, whatever.
Yeah, I agree. Anyone coming in...
Don't leave stuff, valuables in the car. Cause
the basics.
Having common sense, yeah.
So a lot of people think they can just throw stuff in the car, lock the door, and leave, and they always get stolen. Yeah. Other stuff gets stolen.
Yeah, thieves won't know if you have valuable stuff or not, but you're a tourist and they know what you're bringing as a tourist. They will go after you.
They know. And they have spotters and people who do stuff. So inviting strangers into your home, doesn't matter how handsome or pretty or whatever language or anything, like don't invite strangers into your home. And we're not saying that from a mean place. We're not saying don't support the locals. Do support the locals. Get surf lessons, get yoga lessons, support Ticos as much as you possibly can. But don't invite strangers into your home who you don't know. Yeah. Especially if you're in a group, because what happens is people come into the homes, they hang out a little bit, they learn where everything is at, they learn what they're locking, what they're not, they learn what they have. It's so very simple. And then a lot of the times you might actually be sitting at dinner with someone or with a group that you're hanging out with, but they have somebody who's hitting the house right now. And we have phones now. Someone can literally just sit in the woods, watch when they leave. All right, they're gone. Somebody else can watch you guys partying over here and say, okay, they're jamming out. It's not hard to steal here. What makes it extremely hard to steal here is, well, if there's a security guard sitting out front or a dog.
Long story short.
I probably should add dog to the list. If you live here, get a good dog. Thank you all for coming in. Before we wrap up, Agnes, can you give us a financial update as to where we're at? We mentioned the G-Love concerts coming in, but we did just have one other event.
Yeah, we had the Sabor de Nosara, which is an event that is shared with the firefighters. We had about $6,600 of cash income, net income, after all expenses and a lot of work. So this money is used for prevention, basically.
Well, also, the donations that have come in have allowed us to make those camera connections. Yeah. So many thanks to whoever's donating. Right. But I guess what I would say, to wrap it up, if you own a home here, include private security in your rental rate, or try to. If you don't, please advertise and make sure your property manager is at least telling your renters that that is available. And every property manager here should want to do that. So my main message I'd like to get to anyone who owns a home here or is visiting here is, if you're coming in to visit, get travel insurance, back up all your stuff, your wedding photos, your children's births, all that type of stuff. There's nothing more heartbreaking for us than when someone just got robbed. They lost all their heartfelt, sentimental material. That's even more important than the money in most cases. So please back that up, get travel insurance, and request private security if it's not already included. To the homeowners, include it. Talk to your property manager, ask how much it'd be, and if you're not going to include it in your rental rates, please make sure your property manager is at least giving your guests the information that it's available. And the people who live here, what we really could use is some support as to what these initiatives are. The people who live here, not knowingly, I know no one does it intentionally, they're our worst enemy as far as fundraising and trying to do these things, because when you get robbed, then you just tear down that person who just got robbed. Yeah, everything sucks. That's not helping us. So we need the homeowners to donate. We need everyone to participate. And we really just need the support, because what we're doing is making progress. And I'll be happy to talk to anyone, answer any questions, and share whatever we're doing with anyone. But I guess that's about it from my end. Any thoughts?
Yeah, you don't have to donate money every month, though it helps. You just helping us with like your camera, orienting one in the street in front of your house is already a big deal. It doesn't cost you more because you already have the camera. Currently, we have one business that's been for years giving every month $100, and that's the Harmony Hotel. Thank you for your support. If another business wants to collaborate, even if it's $20 a month, it helps.
And if it's not money, just sharing this information and creating like
awareness.
Yeah.
Come to the concert, support the concert, because that's our biggest fundraiser.
Yes.
That's how we get our stuff. And then please, if you're going to build a home here, if you're going to jump into this rental game, just please set it up properly. It'll save everyone untold amounts of stress.
The concert is November 24th.
November 24th.
At 6 p.m. Saturday, November 24th at 6 p.m.
It's going to be a good one.
Thanksgiving week.
All right.
Thanksgiving.
Thank you again so much for your years of service and your time and hopping on to this forum and telling people what's up.
Thank you.
Let me be your weeping willow tree, surround you with my lonely